Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are tackling a concept that completely shatters our basic understanding of reality. We're breaking down the mechanics of the world of Tenet, pulling directly from our source material to make sense of a truly mind-bending scenario. Now, I want you to clear your head of everything you know about cause and effect. We are entering a high-stakes world where the absolute most dangerous weapon isn't a bomb and it isn't a laser. It's the clock itself. If you've ever felt completely lost trying to wrap your head around time travel, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to look at the facts, break down the mechanics, and piece together this massive puzzle.
So, start by asking yourself, what if time actually reversed? Imagine a world where gravity and physics seem to operate in complete defiance of logic. Picture yourself standing on a battlefield. Instead of seeing a gun fire a bullet, you see a bullet fly backward, right out of a wall, and perfectly seat itself back into the chamber of the gun. Imagine massive, devastating explosions suddenly sucking themselves inward, perfectly rebuilding the concrete and steel that they literally just destroyed. It completely breaks the brain, doesn't it? But this isn't just magic. In the context of our source material, this is a weaponized physical reality.
And that brings us to a deeply chilling realization. Look, if the flow of time can be manipulated, then our perception of the present moment, our entire reality, is essentially fake. You really have to ask yourself, how do you fight a war when the consequences of that war have already happened, or haven't even happened yet? Our source material points out that the characters in this world are fighting a future that hasn't occurred, yet they're doing it to decide the fate of the entire world right now, in the present. The stakes literally could not be higher, because the battlefield isn't a place. The battlefield is time itself.
Section 1. Reality is broken. The threat is time itself.
Section 2. What is inversion? Reversing the flow.
Our story follows a secret agent who gets recruited into a highly classified organization known as Tenet to face a catastrophic threat. But it isn't an attack from outer space. The threat is time being manipulated against us. An unknown, highly advanced enemy has figured out how to actively move objects and even human beings backward through time. So inversion is the process where objects and people move backward through time while the rest of the world moves forward. This is absolutely crucial. It's the foundational rule you need to grasp. We are looking at how time can run forward and backward at the exact same time. Normally, you and I move forward in time. Every passing second pushes us into the future. But in a state of inversion, that experience is entirely reversed for the inverted subject. They are traveling into the past, second by second, while the universe around them continues to tick into the future. It's like a two-way street, but it's operating in the exact same lane.
To really visualize how alien this is, let's contrast our normal physical laws with inverted ones. Normally, cause leads to effect. You drop a glass, it shatters. You shoot a gun, the bullet leaves the barrel. You light a fire, it consumes fuel. Simple, right? But in a state of inversion, because the inverted object is moving backward while we move forward, the effect happens before the cause from our perspective. Bullets literally leap into guns. Shattered, broken glass on the floor suddenly springs up and reassembles into a perfect pane. Blazing fire turns back into raw fuel. It is not a rewind button on a video player. It is physics operating in reverse in real time.
Which leads us to this terrifying scenario. Just imagine the sheer terror and confusion of fighting someone who is inverted. If you're moving forward and your enemy's moving backward, they have already experienced the end of the fight. They know every single punch you're going to throw, every place you are going to hide, because from their temporal perspective, you've already done it. How do you defeat an enemy who already knows your exact future moves? It creates a combat scenario that completely defies human instinct.
Section 3. The Doomsday Algorithm. The ultimate weapon.
To combat this impossible threat, our protagonist teams up with a mysterious ally named Neil. Their mission is to stop a master plan centered on something known simply as the algorithm. Now, if activated, this doesn't just invert a bullet or a person. It is designed to reverse the entire world's timeline all at once. This means the future could literally destroy the past. The people in the future are actively trying to erase what came before them. And finally, the ultimate consequence, life as we know it would just stop existing. It's not an explosion that kills everyone. It is the fundamental deletion of our reality. The ticking clock of this mission isn't just counting down to a bomb going off, it's counting down to the end of time moving forward. They absolutely have to stop the algorithm before it activates.
Section 4. Fighting a time war. The core confusion.
Our source material points out that watching this unfold is inherently confusing. And look, there is a very good reason for that. This isn't a standard military engagement.
In these battles, forward soldiers and backward soldiers are executing military actions simultaneously, but in opposite temporal directions. Remember our core focus here, how time can run forward and backward at the exact same time. Forward soldiers are attacking into the future, while backward soldiers are attacking into the past. So think about it. When an explosion goes off on the battlefield, the forward soldiers take cover from the blast, while the backward soldiers take cover from the unexploding debris coming back together. Battles are happening in both directions at once.
And that is exactly why the source text confirms events are out of order. If you've ever felt completely disoriented trying to understand this, hey, your confusion is entirely valid. It's by design. The disorientation happens because you are watching events that are literally not occurring in a chronological sequence. Cause does not always precede effect here. The narrative is happening across overlapping time layers. You are basically watching the past, present, and future collide in a single moment on the battlefield.
Section 5. The loop closes. The final puzzle piece.
This is where we pivot to the mind-bending ending of our source material, where all of these confusing, overlapping layers finally perfectly click into place. At the end of the mission, the protagonist realizes a shocking truth. He has actually been part of this exact mission before, and his mysterious ally, Neil, has known him for a very long time. But here is the real kicker. From the protagonist's current point of view, none of that has actually happened yet. Because they're moving in opposite directions through time, the end of the protagonist's journey is the beginning of Neil's, and vice versa. Neil ends up sacrificing himself to save the mission, an act that is only possible because of their deeply intertwined, totally out-of-order timeline.
So you see, this reality isn't a straight line at all. It's a loop. It begins with the mission start in the present. This overlaps with Neil's sacrifice, where the future and past converge to ensure the mission actually succeeds. Ultimately, this leads to the timeline's true origin, which actually takes place in the future. Neil's ultimate sacrifice proves that the end of this story is actually the beginning. The protagonist survives the present so that, in the future, it can go back to the past to set up the very organization, Tenet, that recruited him in the first place.
It all culminates in this one massive realization. He is not following the timeline, he is creating it. The protagonist isn't just a soldier walking some predestined path laid out by someone else. Through the mechanics of inversion, by experiencing time moving forward and backward, he is the grand architect of this entire puzzle. Every confusing moment, every out-of-order battle was meticulously placed there by his future self to ensure his past self would succeed. So, I'm going to leave you with this question. Was it connected all along? Once you understand the core focus, that time in this world moves in both directions simultaneously, you realize this isn't just a random series of chaotic events, it's a perfectly constructed loop. When you look back at everything we've covered in this explainer, you start to see that the end was always embedded in the beginning. It really makes you wonder, if you could invert your own timeline, what pieces of your past would you realize you actually put there yourself? Think about that.